On Overdrive this week, we check out the latest update on the luxurious Volvo XC90. We ride a modern classic, the Brixton Cromwell 1200, and chat with Anand Kulkarni, Chief Product Officer at Tata Passenger Electric Mobility, about Tata EV's work in making the next generation of EVs more robust with longer range. Hello and welcome to Overdrive. I'm Soeni Dutt. The Volvo XC90, the three-row luxury SUV, has been given a fairly major update, but the engine has lost some of its performance. Let's see how it pans out in real-world conditions.
A few years ago, Volvo told us that it would go completely electric, which meant we would have to say goodbye to cars like the XC90. Clearly, that's not happened. So changing global dynamics mean that we get to savor this quiet and soothing luxury SUV all over again. But has the experience changed at all with this quite significant facelift? The Volvo XC90 has always managed that classy, timeless look well. That sense seems to have been taken forward with this update. The new face brings quite a bit more of a minimalistic, cool Scandinavian luxury theme. The headlamps are much sharper now with a more defined light signature. The asymmetrical grille and wider air dams create a flush, attractive look. As we said, the bodywork hasn't significantly changed. The 20-inch alloys now have a sharper theme that complements the other new changes. The rear sees a similar change as the front, with the quite recognizable vertical tail lamps becoming more compact and better detailed. Now with 7 seaters, one thing that you need to worry about is how much space there actually is with all 3 rows up. And I must say the XC90 does pretty well. So you can carry a few carry-on bags here, which is quite surprising. But really what you need to be doing if you have even 5 people up is this. Fold these down, which go completely flat to give you about 640 litres. You can lower this car to quite a deep level. Now the clean contemporary sense that you get from the outside of the new XC90, to be fair, seems to have been executed even better on the inside. Now to Volvo's credit, this car does not look like it's been around for nearly a decade now. And this new screen, again it's angled towards the driver, it looks a bit tacked on, but it is functional. I mean, it gets the job done better than the last one. This unit has better resolution, sharper displays and more logical menus. You still control most climate and car functions through this, but the experience is a bit smoother now. While Apple CarPlay is available, we wish you could have had some better kind of Android Auto integration. The 12.3-inch driver display continues as before. It seems a bit sharper now, but otherwise, it continues with its minimalistic theme. Now in a car like this is probably the place you want to be in, and it's largely a pleasant experience. Although I do think 1 or 2 places could have been slightly better. To start with, we'll get the not so nice things out of the way, which is that this bench, I think it could have had a bit more thigh support and you could have had a bit more knee room, I feel, for such a long car. I have my seat back pushed completely and this is how much space I have, and I was expecting a little bit more. But all of this seems to be to accommodate the third row, and aside from this and this slightly flimsy-ish center armrest, I think it's generally a pleasant experience. To start with, you have a bright cabin because of the large windows and the large sunroof. You have a 4-zone climate control function. You have an AC vent here and the ones here, of course, which is nice. You have 2 Type-C ports, that's good. And the seat cushioning is, for the backrest, quite nice. So if you have a bad back, then that's not going to be a problem. And you can also recline to get yourself into a nice napping position. Now the XC90 is best described as a 5+2, and let me show you why. Now climbing in is alright. I mean, I can push this forward with this slightly inclined action, so I have a clean pass through. But as you can see, once I'm here, I really don't have much in the way of knee room. I can bring the seat back a little bit and I have about this much space, and I'm not very tall, and the seats, they give me good back support, but thigh support is really not that much at all. So I would think that this place is best suited for kids for longer journeys and adults for really small trips. Now when you first start driving the XC90 from behind the wheel, it's again very simple, very straightforward. Exactly like what you might want from an SUV. It's not overly aggressive, you're not sitting too high up, not too sporty, you're not sitting too low, you're sitting just right. Visibility is great, these pillars aren't too large. Now yes, you don't have that deep, effortless sense that you get from a 6-cylinder motor in some of its competitors, but what is there is adequate. Now the only other time you do notice that you are a bit down on power is say on inclines where the motor has to work a bit harder, and that's also when you notice that the gearbox struggles a little bit, because otherwise it's almost always right on the money. You notice that as long as you keep things sane, it'll flow along a road quite predictably. It'll turn into corners. Now the steering, again, it's not the most direct or precise, but it is predictable. So you always kind of know or have a fair idea what the car is doing, and that does give you a reassuring sense from behind the wheel. Now the firm steering setting, again, it just seems to add a bit more weight. It doesn't actually quicken the steering as far as I can tell. So I think it doesn't really matter that way. It just gives you that added layer of predictability, so to speak.
Priced at Rs 1.29 crore on-road Mumbai, the 2025 Volvo XC90 continues to be that calming, dependable luxury SUV it always was. It doesn't show its age all too much, which is a great compliment, and while we do wish for a more lavish second row, the rich cabin, long features list and good driving dynamics continue to keep it relevant.
Well, it's time for us to take our first commercial break here on the show, but don't go anywhere because on the other side, we'll get back to you with the Brixton Cromwell 1200.